Welcome to General Teaching Methods. It's a study of the basic principles involved in teaching high school students. The text that you will be using are The 7 Laws of Teaching by John Milton Gregory, Teaching to Change Lives by Howard Hendricks, Christian Education, Its Mandate and Mission by Ronald Arthur Horton. These are all suggested texts, and please note that the Christian Education book is going to focus on chapters 1 through 4. Okay? You're going to be doing outside work in this class. You'll have writing assignments, and everything in this class is to be uploaded in Schoology. All right, so you're going to listen to these assignments. At the bottom of those different ones, you'll see worksheet for each chapter of both books comparing Gregory and Hendricks is supplied in Schoology. So you will do your work, do the worksheet, and submit it. Make sure you do it by the due dates. Don't be late on it. You will be doing a practicum in this class. For this class, you will assist an assigned teacher for 45 minutes each week on a designated day and time slot. So what you need to do is when you get your sheet telling you what teacher you're going to be working under, you need to see them as soon as possible. Okay? When you go to that teacher, you find a day and find a time that will be good for both of you. Then you will make sure that when you go there, you're in school attire. It's not a free-for-all. Make sure you're dressed properly. And please do not miss a day. If you have to miss a day, you know ahead of time, call the teacher and let them know. Then something can be done about it. If you just don't show up, then you are not going to get counted for that week. All right? And please, if at all possible, don't miss a class. That teacher has stuff prepared for you to do, and sometimes that stuff that they've got you doing is stuff that they need to work with later on in the day. So you might put them in a little bind if you don't show up. The next thing is a bulletin board. You will be putting a bulletin board up on March 1st in room 111. This needs to be done, completed, cleaned up, and you out of that room on March 1st by 8 a.m. There are academy classes in there, so it needs to be sharp. Don't just put up a border in a background and say, I'll do the rest later. It has to be completed by March 1st. It's going to be a 12 by 4 board and a 4 by 4 board. So if you're doing the big board, it gets to be divided in 3. So make sure you do a 4 by 4 board. All right? The other thing about the bulletin boards is make sure that it's on your field of study. And don't forget that you can find the teacher that's teaching that area that you're wanting to do the board on. Ask them for suggestions. You might have a really good idea, but they could take it a step further for you and make that board even more usable in the classroom. Once you get the bulletin board done, take a picture of it and upload it into Schoology. Don't forget, everything in this class needs to be uploaded into Schoology, even if somebody else has already graded it. Another thing you'll be doing is motivational ideas. You make 4 of these in the course of the semester. The due dates are given: January 25th, February 8th, March 15th, and April 5th. The thing that I want to say about the motivational ideas is, number 1, don't forget they need to be in your field of study and they need to be on a high school level. Another thing is that they need to be user ready. That means that if you would bring it in to me to be graded and I say, ooh, I need to use that right now, it's ready. Everything that goes with it is done there and I could use it in my class. All right? Don't say, well, I will be making these papers for this. You have everything. It's complete. For you in this class here, I would like you on those due dates to see me in my room, room 112, between 11:30 and 12:30. That way you can present it to me and then you can take it with you. If you have a problem with those times, just see me and we can adjust it. Board writing. You are going to be writing on the board, doing practice on the board for 15 minutes each week. After you have done your 15 minutes of practice writing, you take a picture of it, upload it into Schoology. Please then make sure that you erase the board and wash the board for the next teacher or the next person that'll be in there. This board writing must be cursive. All right, make sure you're writing in cursive writing. Just remember that on the day of the final exam, you will have a board writing quiz, and it will count 4 times the weekly grade. So make sure you're ready for that. Another thing that you're going to be doing, and this to me sounds exciting, I think I would like to do this, is teach a sample lesson. All right, so you are going to be assigned to a teacher, and you will go to that teacher. In fact, I have for you students in here, except for Amanda, I'd like for you to make sure you see Mrs. D. Wright and find out what you're doing. But if you want to write these down, you'll have them ready. Jacob, you're going to be teaching for Mr. Reinhardt, and it's going to be high school biology, I believe. Serenity, you're going to be teaching for Mrs. Case, and that will be high school English. She's like, yes. Joy, you'll be teaching for Mrs. Schreiber, and it's English and speech. All right? So what you need to do then is you need to go to those teachers and see them, tell them that you're going to be teaching for them, and you need to make up a sample lesson. All right, so here's what they will go over with you. These are the things that you're going to be needing in that lesson plan. You need a lesson plan, teaching materials, notes, student notes, and presentation. Those are the things that you're going to be graded on when you get up to teach. All right? Now, the nice thing about it, you're going to meet with your individual teachers and say, I'm going to be graded on all these things. Please help me make sure I have a good lesson. And they will work with you. All right? So, very important. You see the teacher for the date, the time, and the class, and then you need to email Mrs. D. Wright with that. Okay? As soon as you can get that. And you really need to try to get in there this week. Find a time to meet with them. That doesn't mean you're doing the whole lesson plan this week. But you need to see them and say, I'm going to be teaching for you. Can I meet with you so that we can find a day? Because, you know, these teachers really are very scheduled. And you don't want to wait till the end of the semester and then find out there's really no time for you. All right, so get it set up and planned ahead of time. Let Mrs. D. Wright know as soon as possible. Okay? Any questions on that? That should be fun. That should be fun. All right, so let's look at the grading in the class. That sample lesson then is going to be 25% of your grade. So make sure you put, you know what? When a teacher gives you and helps you do the lesson plans, just remember this. A good teacher teaches from the lesson plan, but a great teacher goes above and beyond. They plan extra things in. You know, you can plan your lesson plan and think, oh, I've got plenty of material here. But you get up there and you're nervous and your tone of voice and your speed of voice goes from a 33 to a 45. And you find that your 45-minute lesson is finished in 30 minutes. You always plan extra so that you have things to do. All right? So make sure you go above and beyond on what. When you're talking about the lesson, though, stick with what the teacher tells you. It's the extra things, the review, something to help them get it. Okay? So plan extra things in it. So your sample lesson, that's a quarter of the grade. That's pretty extensive. Creative work, which is motivational ideas, bulletin boards. The bulletin boards will count double, but it's 30% of your grade. So you want to do a good job on that too. Reading assignments is 30% of your grade. Make sure you do a good job. You know, I tell my students in my class when they have a bulletin board due, you want to make sure you have good planning. Make sure you have it needs to be pleasant to look at. Okay, so put a little work into your visuals that you're putting on it. But upkeep is a big thing. You know, sometimes our bulletin boards, you'll go in there one day and everything's perfect, and the next day you go in and letters have fallen off. Make sure you check that board just to make sure everything's still okay. All right? You will be graded right away on it, so that is nice. But just to go above and beyond, just stick your head in every once in a while and make sure that bulletin board is still good. Okay? Now the policies. This class meets online and in class. However, assignments must be completed and uploaded to Schoology by the date and the time. All late work will receive a 0. So don't push him on that. All right, and all projects too. So everything needs to be uploaded. And I just wanted to say this. Look on the back of your sheet, you'll see the dates. Okay? You have all the dates in there, January 17th, 24, and so forth. Those dates are the dates that you're going to be in class. All right? Teachers can always give suggestions, and some students listen and some don't. It's up to you. But if I were you, I would look at these dates and say, okay, these are in dates class. I would look at all my writing assignments. They're due by these dates. If you're not in class, block that time out to go ahead and do this class's work during the scheduled time, even though you don't have to be in this classroom. And that will keep you from doing last minute work, and the last minute work not being 100%. All right? So if you just determine right away, you know what, I'm going to look all of my things. Right now I'm going to schedule when I'm going to do these assignments, when I'm going to do this, and the work that you can do, schedule them in the class periods that you don't have to be in this classroom. If you will be consistent with that, you won't have any problem getting this work accomplished on time. Don't not turn things in. All right? Any questions on the class? No? I think I've covered everything. So then the next time you'll be meeting in here is January 24th with Mrs. Goss. Okay? Thank you very much. You're dismissed.